Blue skin disorder. You may look like you're auditioning for the latest Avatar movie, but having a blue skin condition is about your body struggling to get enough oxygen. Scientifically known as methemoglobinemia, this rare disorder gives the skin a blue or purple hue due to blood having a high level of methemoglobin, a form of hemoglobin that isn't great at carrying oxygen. Your blood cells are your body's delivery trucks, zipping around and bringing oxygen to your body parts. Usually these trucks are fast couriers, but with methemoglobinemia, some turn into sluggish, broken down vehicles. They can't get the oxygen where it needs to go. This lack of oxygen delivery makes parts of your body turn blue, resulting in that distinctive Smurf-like complexion. Blue skin disorder can either be inherited, handed down like a family heirloom nobody asked for, or it can be acquired from exposure to certain chemicals and medications. Let's say your great-great-grandparent was a carrier, and now, generations later, you've inherited the family's dubious blue gene. It's never fun when you're rocking the blue skin look. Aside from someone asking you directions to the Smurf village, you might feel dizzy, fatigued, or out of breath. It's as if you've just run a marathon without the glory of crossing a finish line, and in extreme cases, this lack of oxygen can be life-threatening, making it more than just a unique cosmetic look. Situs inversus. You're in the Harry Potter universe, and someone suddenly casts Situs inversus on you. The spell rearranges your organs, moving them around and switching places with their counterparts on the other side of the body. But the twist is that this isn't a fictional phenomenon, but a real-life condition. Situs inversus is a condition where your organs switch places, as if you're looking at a mirror image of yourself. So the organs that are usually on the left now switch places with the ones on the right. This condition results from a genetic twist that affects more than 100 genes linked to the sidedness of your organs. Due to how rare this mutation is, it affects only 1 out of 10,000 people. Some might not even know they have it. If you have this condition, you can go about your regular days not knowing that your organs played the old switcheroo. It's only when you get a medical checkup and make the doctor wonder why he can't hear your heartbeat that you realize that they have this rare condition. That's why you should be worried about the doctor making a mistake with your organs during surgery. Imagine doctor taking out a healthy kidney instead of a sick one out of your body. The interesting part about this condition is that it doesn't mess with how your body works. The organs work normally, although you may be more prone to a few heart and lung-related problems. Hypermobile joints. Hypermobile joints are those overachievers at your office who make everyone else look like they're slacking off by comparison. They don't just stick to the job description because they go above and beyond in the most spectacular and occasionally bizarre ways possible. With hypermobile joints, you're like a human Swiss Army knife of flexibility. Need to scratch your back? Those itchy spots in hard-to-reach places are a breeze for you, while others envy your flexible abilities. This super flexibility is all thanks to your connective tissues being more elastic than usual. While everyone else is stretching to touch their toes, you're casually folding yourself into origami shapes at yoga class, becoming the star pupil with moves that would make a rubber band jealous. But there's a catch. Before you start planning your career as a circus performer, being hypermobile isn't always a good thing. It's like having a superpower with a side order of sprains and the occasional joint dislocation. Your joints might feel like rubber bands that have been pulled too far one too many times. They will eventually snap back when you least expect it. So while you might be tempted to show off your human pretzel skills at every opportunity, remember that it's not always a good idea to twist yourself into a knot just because you can do it. Waardenburg syndrome. Let's say your printer becomes a frustrated painter by throwing around colors like it's at a party. Instead of a normal photo, you get an abstract piece of art with mismatched colors and patterns. That's what happens when you have Waardenburg syndrome. This condition turns your DNA into an artist who's had a few too many cups of coffee and spilled paint everywhere. Instead of cleaning up and starting over, your body decides this chaotic canvas is the new masterpiece. If you have Waardenburg syndrome, you'll have some distinctive features. Your hair might have a stylish white streak, or even be completely white. Your skin might be paler than usual, making you look like the star in the next vampire movie. Even certain races can have eyes as blue as the ocean, even though they're genetically not known to have them. Waardenburg syndrome takes the genetic mix-up to a whole new level by getting your hair color and ear genes all tangled up. Your ear genes are convinced they should be hair color genes instead. As a result, you get hearing problems because your ear genes are now in an existential crisis. Even though this genetic game of Twister can lead to some unique features, it's usually not a significant health issue. Hearing problems will be your biggest concern, but it's nothing that hearing aids can't fix. Double row of eyelashes. Whether nature made a mistake or gave you a bonus feature, having a double row of eyelashes can give your eyes that extra flair in a game of peekaboo. Known as dystochiasis, this condition gives you 2 rows of eyelashes on each eyelid instead of the usual single row that the rest of us mere mortals have. You're waking up every day looking like you've already applied a layer of mascara and eyeliner. There's no need for a makeup artist when you have a built-in beauty expert. This genetic trait results from having more oil-producing glands in your eyelids. The extra row sprouts from those glands, giving you eyelashes that make you a mascara company's dream customer. They might even consider naming a product line after you. But before you start planning your red carpet debut, let's talk about the bad side. While having a double row of eyelashes sounds like a ticket to the A-list, this feature can be a pain. Sure, they look fantastic, giving you that effortless, I woke up like this look, but remember, eyelashes are meant to be shields for your eyes, not just accessories. These extra lashes often grow in different directions from your regular ones, which can be very uncomfortable, as if you were having a tiny feather perpetually tickling your eyeballs. Your eyes scream for mercy as you're blinking, leading to irritation or potential damage to your eyes. Cat eye syndrome. Your genetic blueprint is like a complex recipe book that dictates how your body is supposed to develop. But when you have cat eye syndrome, or CES, also known as Schmid-Fracaro syndrome, there's a typo in this recipe book, specifically on chromosome 22. In CES, the issue in this chromosome can cause unique features. The most striking is the appearance of the eyes, which would resemble a cat's eyes because of the vertical slit in the iris, the colorful part of your eyes. This gives you a feline-like look, making you think you're probably 25% cat from your mother's side. Don't get your hopes up about catching mice or leaping gracefully from high places. Your newfound cat eyes don't come with mutant powers that will make you a feline-themed superhero. But CES can also affect other parts of your body, like a mixtape of genetic surprises. Aside from your distinctive eyes, you might have heart, kidney, and spinal abnormalities. Sometimes the way your ears and intestines work is affected. It varies from person to person, but the eyes are usually the common factors. Now, while you might look ready to join a superhero team, there's no cure for CES, because this is a genetic disorder that's permanent. You can manage the symptoms with various treatments tailored to the specific parts of your body affected. Uncombable hair syndrome. If you thought Medusa always had a bad hair day with those snakes slithering around, wait until you hear about uncombable hair syndrome, or UHS. It sounds like a kid might make an excuse for not brushing their hair, but it's an actual condition. Medusa's hair might turn you to stone, but UHS will leave you scratching your head in disbelief. Uncombable hair syndrome is a rare genetic condition that usually starts in childhood. Instead of winning the hair lottery, you draw the card that reads, "Congratulations, your hair will now defy all laws of physics and combs." If you have UHS, your hair plays by its own rules. It defies gravity, stands up, is dry and frizzy, and seems in a never-ending state of static shock. It's like being electrocuted and having your hair frozen in that moment of wild chaos. This genetic issue involves mutations in 3 genes that are supposed to help your hair behave as you grow up. Instead, these genes decide to go rogue. The result is your hair strands shaped like little hearts instead of the typical round shape. These heart-shaped strands give UHS hair an unusual shine. It's like you made a deal with the devil, where you get the shiniest hair in exchange for never being able to comb it. But the silver lining is that UHS isn't harmful. It gets more manageable with age, like a rebellious teenager eventually settling down. Morton's toe. Let's say your toes are the cast in a tiny drama, each playing a unique role. Your big toe should typically be the shoe-stopping star, basking in the limelight due to its size and prominence, but in a plot twist worthy of a Mexican telenovela, Morton's toe flips the script, casting your second toe right next to the big toe as the unexpected leading character. This ambitious second toe, longer than the big one, hijacks the show and takes over as the main toe, leaving the big toe a supporting cast member. While Morton's toe isn't the norm, it's not surprisingly rare because many people have it. The condition arises from how your metatarsals, the long bones in your foot, are arranged, giving your second toe time to shine. Don't think your toes are just there for show, because they play an important role in your daily life. With Morton's toe, the longer second toe can redistribute the pressure across your foot as you walk or stand. This can lead to a series of unwelcome guest stars, namely calluses, pain in the ball of your foot, and other pressure-related problems. It's like your foot decided to throw a surprise party but forgot to invite comfort. Shoe shopping, already a challenging quest, becomes tougher with Morton's toe. But here's a soulful good news. Historically, people with longer second toes were considered leaders, even royalty. Ancient civilizations thought guys were destined for greatness because of their natural leadership skills. Supernumerary nipple. Taking your shirt off at a pool party will always be an awkward moment if you have a supernumerary nipple. It's that weird addition to that human body that nature can throw in the mix, giving you extra nipples. You can find it somewhere near your regular nipples, maybe on your chest, armpit, or even lower abdomen. It's the bonus feature you never asked for, making you the unwilling star of your summer beach trips. Medically known as polythelia, a supernumerary nipple develops during fetal development when extra tissue forms along the milk lines. These lines are like a blueprint that dictates where your regular nipples should be, but occasionally they go a bit overboard and throw in an extra nipple or two for good measure. It's like your milk lines decided to give you backup nipples in case something happens to your primary ones. But those extra nipples usually don't look or function like your regular ones. They can look like tiny bumps, or maybe fully formed nipples. You might not even notice they're there unless you accidentally scratched your armpit and realized something was off. Others are probably more aware of their unique anatomy, making it hard to find a bra that can fit 3 or more nipples. If you have supernumerary nipples, you don't have to worry about them suddenly squirting milk, making it look like you're sweating through your shirt. These nipples aren't usually connected to mammary glands, the parts of your body that produce milk. This means that they're more like decorative accessories. Segmental heterochromia. Having segmental heterochromia is like your eyes deciding to pull a printer error mid-job by running out of ink for one color and improvising with whatever's left in the cartridge. As a result, your iris, that colorful part of your eye, sporting a patch of blue amidst a sea of brown or a speck of hazel in an otherwise green eye. It's like your eyeball is working a second job as a painter's canvas, becoming a bit more colorful than it's supposed to be. This genetic phenomenon happens when melanin, the eye's pigment producer, plays mix and match, creating a mini rainbow in your eyeball. It could be there from birth, gifted to you by your genes, like winning the eye color lottery. Alternatively, it might appear after an eye injury. On top of that, you're part of an elite club, because less than 1% of the global population has this iconic look. However, having segmental heterochromia doesn't come with perks, because it's purely decorative. It doesn't turn your eyes into binoculars, capable of embarrassing any iPhone with its zooming prowess. You don't get night vision abilities either. Of course, there are also no drawbacks. Going to the doctor for eye drops is unnecessary, unless an injury makes your eyes more colorful. Macrodactyly. Your pinky suddenly woke up wanting to be bigger than the other fingers because it's tired of getting bullied by the rest of the hand. It went to the gym, loaded up on protein, and bulked up to look like the finger version of John Cena. That's essentially what macrodactyly does for you. This condition happens because of an abnormal growth of tissues in the bone, muscles, and skin of the affected finger. It's like nature hit the zoom button on that one finger or toe, turning it more significant than the rest. This can happen from birth because of genetics or a cell mutation, so if you have a massive finger, you can pull out the "it runs in the family" card. This party of overgrown cells in your finger isn't just about bad aesthetics that will make it hard to find a glove that would fit. Bigger fingers can cause problems beyond mere inconvenience because they affect how your hand or foot functions. If a swollen finger is already uncomfortable enough to write with, imagine how much harder it would be to do that with a pinky the size of a New York hot dog. The bright side is an enlarged middle finger will make you the best at flipping the bird on people you're not fond of. Hitchhiker's thumb. It's rush hour in New York City and you're standing on the curb, raising your thumb to catch a cab. But here comes a guy extending his thumb and bending it backward, catching the taxi driver's attention. These guys possess what we call a hitchhiker's thumb. But don't be fooled because this thumb isn't a magical ride-hailing tool. It's not a built-in Uber app. Flashing your bendy thumb at passing cars on the highway won't make them screech to a halt and offer you a lift. Instead, it's just a super flexible thumb, capable of bending back like it's trying to point to your elbow. Hitchhiker's thumb is what scientists call a recessive trait. This means it's as rare as finding a cab in the rain on a Friday night. Even if your family tree is full of straight-thumb normies, you could be born with it. Conversely, having two bendy-thumbed parents doesn't guarantee you'll inherit this party trick. Some historians and evolutionary biologists once thought that having a hitchhiker's thumb might have given ancient humans a grip advantage when wielding tools or climbing trees. Today, however, this thumb flexibility doesn't grant any significant survival perks, unless you count being the undefeated thumb wrestling champion at family gatherings as crucial. Ultimately, hitchhiker's thumb is less of an evolutionary marvel and more of a weird conversation starter. Exploding head syndrome. Exploding head syndrome isn't the literal mind-blowing condition you might think it is, but it's pretty darn close because people with this problem tend to feel like they're in the middle of a World War II battle with all sorts of noises and explosions messing with their heads. It's what you'd call parasomnia, which is a disorder that disrupts your sleep. Think of it as insomnia's annoying cousin. Essentially, you're hearing loud noises just as you're falling asleep. The noises range from gunshots, explosions, drum beats, to literally feeling like you are at Rammstein's concert. But the surprise is that nothing external is causing the noises. No explosions are happening around you. Your head isn't about to suddenly boom and splatter your brains around. Instead, everything is just happening inside of your head. Scientists, however, aren't sure what causes this problem. One theory is that there are small seizures in the primary auditory complex, the part of the brain that processes sound. This makes you think there are noises around you, even though it's a silent night. Another theory is that it can be caused by damage or dysfunction to the inner ear structures. Despite the scary name, EHS is harmless. It won't lead to brain damage or death. The worst it can do is make it tougher to get your beauty sleep. Synesthesia. Try telling people that you can see sounds or hear colors, and they're going to think that you've just had a batch of psychedelic shrooms. But this can happen to some people who experience synesthesia. When you're experiencing this condition, your body mixes different senses together, crossing their effects. So when you're jamming to a song, your taste buds might also taste actual jam. Basically, your brain crosses one sensory experience with another, so when you should normally hear music when listening to a tune, your brain makes you see colors. The brain has different parts that process all of the information from your senses. When you have synesthesia, your brain processes information through two or more brain areas. For example, instead of just your occipital lobe processing what your eyes see, the primary auditory cortex, which processes sound, may also jump into this tag team match. As a result, your brain makes you hear music when your eyes see colors. Let's just say you're going to have a colorful way of listening to music. It is estimated that about 4% of the population experiences different forms of synesthesia. Most people are born with it because of their genetics, but it can also be caused by brain damage or drug use. While having this condition may sound inconvenient, people with synesthesia tend to be more artistic and score higher in intelligence scores, so it's not all that bad. Hyperthymesia. When you're in the middle of the toughest college exam of your life, you wish you had hyperthymesia. There's a good reason this condition is also called highly superior autobiographical memory, or HSAM. People suffering from HSAM have the rare ability to remember an extraordinary number of personal experiences or events with pinpoint accuracy. You don't just remember birthdays or weddings, instead you remember everything that happened to the smallest detail, from their breakfast to what socks they wore on an exact day. It's like your brain becomes a mental time machine that can bring your thoughts back to a certain event, allowing you to dictate everything that happened. These guys never have to wonder where they left their keys. The cause of hyperthymesia is unknown, however, certain brain areas appear larger in people with this condition. It sounds like an amazing superpower that will be handy in a huge test, but it can also be the supervillain to your own story. Your mind never forgets awkward situations. It's telling you, hey, remember that time you farted in front of your grade school crush? Or when you missed the game-winning shot during the high school basketball championships? Your brain reruns everything, including the worst parts of your life. Body integrity identity disorder. You wake up one day and feel like your left arm isn't yours, like it's been placed there by some mad scientist wanting to recreate Frankenstein's monster. That's what someone with body integrity identity disorder, or BIID, feels. Suffering from BIID makes you feel like your mental body image doesn't match your physical body. This fills you with the urge to take a sharp knife and amputate the limb, such as your right arm, because you believe it's not yours. When you remove the imposter limb, you'll feel all right again, even though you're just all left. The cause of BIID isn't fully understood, but some researchers believe that the brain isn't mapping the body correctly, especially during childhood. This makes their brains believe that some of their limbs shouldn't be there. In an extreme case of BIID, you might experience something called apotemnophilia, which involves a strong sexual or erotic interest tied to the idea of being an amputee. Their desire to amputate one of their limbs isn't about their brain's wirings, but because they just have freaky sexual desires. So if you see your child cutting off an arm from their dolls and action figures, those may be early signs of BIID. Formication. Suffering from formication is like being a side character in a horror movie about bugs. It's the feeling you get when you think that bugs and other tiny creatures are crawling on your skin, even though there isn't anything there. Formication is characterized by a tingling and itching sensation that can be uncomfortable or even distressing. Your skin decided to host an invisible bug party without telling you about it. Essentially, what happens is that the nervous system sends false signals to the brain, making a certain part of the body itch for no reason. In most cases, it's as simple as dry skin irritating you, but in other cases, it can be a symptom of something more serious, such as diabetes and brain-related problems. People suffering from alcohol and drug withdrawals can also be seen scratching themselves, thinking that bugs are feasting on them. The first step for people suffering from this condition is to find the cause. It could be something related to your skin, or it could be due to substance abuse. If it's not anything medical related, try putting some lotion on your skin to moisturize it, or maybe distract your brain by going out on a run. Deep breathing can also help to ease your mind and relieve the symptoms, so the next time you feel bugs crawling on you but can't see anything, just relax and don't freak out. That way you won't be bugging anyone else. Hypnagogic hallucinations. You just went through a tired morning and are about to nap midday. As soon as your eyes close, you hear voices around you, as if ghosts were just waiting for you to sleep before doing something crazy. But there aren't any spirits out to get you. Instead, you're just experiencing hypnagogic hallucinations. In a nutshell, these hallucinations put you in a dreamlike state while you're in between being awake and falling asleep. Your senses start to create hallucinations by making you hear voices or even see things that aren't there. This can happen because your brain can mess a few things up during the transition between wakefulness and sleep. Just as you're about to fall asleep, the logical part of your brain rests and allows the dream-generating parts to go to work. Sometimes this can create an overlap, just like how you're already working your shift at work while the coworker from the previous shift is still there. It's like a portal to dream world opens up, allowing crazy sights and sounds to emerge even before you fall completely asleep. This usually happens when you're tired and anxious because your brain is still active even though your body is prepared for sleep mode. Hypnagogic hallucinations are harmless, but it can be startling to see a ghostly figure standing by your side as you drift to sleep. Vivid dreams. Having vivid dreams is like going to a movie theater while you're in bed, because it's the best way for you to enjoy a wild sensory experience within your head. Everything around you feels real and exaggerated when you have a vivid dream. The colors and sounds are all in high definition, and you can even touch, taste, and smell everything around you. These dreams are intense and detailed, making you feel like you're in the middle of a virtual reality game while asleep. They often occur in the middle of rapid eye movement, or REM sleep, when your brain is most active. It's almost as if you were awake because of how busy your mind is during this stage. However, it's when you're usually stressed or suffering from sleep disorders that vivid dreams come to life, as if you get sent to another world just after you fall asleep. Sometimes vivid dreams can be great, especially if you're having a delightful adventure in a fantasy land. But they can also be horror movies, where Freddy Krueger and Slender Man are teaming up to get you. Vivid dreams can sound nice, but can impact you negatively because your brain is still working overtime while you're asleep. That's why you can get moody and sleepy during the day even though you had your usual 8 hours of sleep. That's the price for living a second life in your sleep. But if it happens every night for weeks or months, maybe it's time to go to visit some mental institution. Pica disorder. Having pica disorder is like having the weirdest pre-period cravings ever. Instead of looking for pizza and cookies, you'll want to snack on dirt, chalk, hair, and nails. It's a culinary ride that's going to put you on Gordon Ramsay's bad side. We all have weird cravings at times, but pica disorder takes it to a more intense level. When you suffer from this disorder, your taste buds rebel against you. So instead of looking for spaghetti, you'd be craving for another thing that's long but less tasty, like hair. The thing is that this isn't some kind of food trend, but a real compulsion. Pica disorder is linked to nutritional deficiencies, or the stress and mental problems you're going through. When you lack certain vitamins and minerals, your mind will tell your body to look for them in anything, including non-food items. For example, if you lack zinc, you'd probably be craving garden soil, which is full of that stuff. Or when you're in the middle of a tough part of life, you eat your fingernails as a coping mechanism. This condition, however, can be dangerous. Eating non-edible food items can lead to poisoning and blockages. Of course, no one will invite you out on a food trip if your idea of fine dining is eating sand. If you want to share your biggest food cravings with people who love the same food, you should join our Discord. Just ensure you don't bring your taste for human hair. Kagura delusion. You wake up one morning ready to go down and have breakfast with your family, only to look at your loved ones and think something strange is happening, even if they're familiar. Your first conclusion is that aliens replaced them in disguise. That's how Kagura delusion works. Also called imposter syndrome, this condition is rooted in the science behind your brain. The human mind is full of different sections that house different memories. If you're suffering from Kagura delusion, there's a mix-up in how the brain recognizes faces. It mixes familiarity with feelings of strangeness. This is more common in people suffering from dementia, Alzheimer's disease, or brain injury. What happens here is that your brain tries to cook up a story to make sense of the strangeness you feel when looking at something familiar. You'll likely think that you're in a parallel universe, or that everyone you know got replaced by lizard people in disguise. For example, whenever you're looking at your best friend Joe, you know that he's familiar to you, but because your mind links familiarity with strangeness, you think something strange is happening. So you'd be saying, "Nah, that's not Joe, that's his evil twin, Mo." Prosopagnosia. Prosopagnosia is like your iPhone's Face ID system going nuts, unable to recognize your face. If you suffer from this condition, everyone's face looks like Picasso's most abstract paintings. Prosopagnosia is called face blindness for a reason. You keep forgetting faces. So when you walk down the street and someone says hi to you, but you can't recognize this guy, you're not being rude, you just can't tell who that dude is, only remembering him as soon as he mentions his name. This condition is caused by problems in the inferior temporal cortex, the brain area responsible for recognizing faces. It can also be passed down through your genetics. If someone in your family has a history of forgetting faces, there's a good chance you'll suffer the same condition too. But it can also be acquired, especially if you suffer traumatic brain injury, strokes, or degenerative diseases. The biggest problem with this condition is that you can't interpret facial expressions, and must constantly rely on hairstyle, clothing, or voice to identify people. So if your friends keep changing anything about their appearance, you'll have difficulty recognizing them. False awakening. Your brain has its way of playing pranks on you. Sometimes you'd wake up and go through your morning routine, you drink your coffee and catch the bus to work or school. It's all a regular day, until your alarm goes off and makes you realize you were drooling on your pillow the entire time. You were still asleep when you thought you had already gone through half your day. This is what's called a false awakening. This phenomenon often happens when there's an increased level of alertness while you're in deep sleep. So instead of experiencing the usual dreams, such as being in a relationship with your crush, your brain gives you dreams focused on familiar things, such as your daily routine. This gives you the false belief that you already woke up. In most cases, this happens when you anticipate something stressful, such as a big exam or an important job interview. Your brain is now on full alert, ready to prepare you for that big event, even though your body is still snuggled between the blankets. Instead of you fighting dragons in your sleep, your brain forces you to go to work in slumberland. There are also instances when false awakenings can happen in cycles. You often wake up multiple times, only to discover you were just dreaming. When you go back to sleep, it happens again. It's like your body is a broken record player stuck in an infinite loop, making it hard to figure out if you've already woken up for real. So you might want to take it easy on the coffee and try calming your mind before sleeping. Aquagenic urticaria. Having aquagenic urticaria is like nature playing a cruel joke on you. Humans love water because we need it for our survival. But if you're suffering from this condition, your skin is essentially allergic to water. A relaxing bath after a tough job is usually the part of the day that most people look forward to. But not if you're suffering from this condition. As soon as you dip in your bathtub, your skin will start itching and break into hives. So now you choose between smelling like a pig because you can't take a bath, or scratching your body like a flea-infested dog once water touches you. But there are no answers to why this can happen to some people. The theory is that certain people have skin naturally sensitive to water, triggering allergic reactions that turn showers into trips to Itchy Town. If you're out on a trip with your friends, it will be hard to tell them, "Sorry, I can't go on that water slide because I'm allergic to fun." Thankfully, taking antihistamine medication can be a quick but temporary fix to this itch fest. Nervous system. You probably know that internal communication is important for a company to allow different departments to work together. It's the same with the body, which relies on the nervous system to keep every organ and limb in the loop. This system serves as the body's communication and control center. Think of the nervous system as billions of telephone lines scattered all over your body, sending electric signals faster than texts from gossiping teenagers. These lines all rely on the brain, the bossy CEO of the body. Your brain is always working non-stop, like a 7-Eleven in the middle of the business district. It uses the nervous system to send messages to the entire body, going through the spinal cord and the nerves connected to it. These nerves are messengers that carry messages from the brain to different body parts. Something as simple as watching television relies on your brain telling the nerves in your eyes to focus on what you're doing. Similarly, nerves also signal your hand to jerk away when it touches something hot. The nervous system is the only reason you can move, blink, and breathe. Without the other parts of this system, your brain will be a lonely CEO without anyone delivering its commands to the rest of your body. Circulatory system. Your heart is like Grand Central Station, where all the different trains of the city's public transportation network go through. These trains pick up passengers and deliver them to other stations before making a stop to your heart in a repeating cycle. This is how the circulatory system works. The blood flowing through your body is the train that carries oxygen and nutrients in and out of the body. It must pass through the lungs to load up on oxygen before the heart pumps oxygen-rich blood to your organs. Meanwhile, the veins bring deoxygenated blood back to the lungs for a quick refill before passing through the heart to make their delivery. This cycle keeps the body moving because every limb and organ needs oxygen and nutrients to function. This is also where you need to understand how important it is to take care of the circulatory system. Fat can sometimes clog your arteries, especially if you're the star customer of the nearest McDonald's. When that happens, it's like a huge traffic jam in the middle of the road, preventing blood from passing through efficiently and delaying oxygen supply to the rest of the body. If there's a blockage in the heart, it can restrict blood flow, potentially leading to a heart attack or other serious heart problems. Unlike your car, your blood doesn't have Google Maps to guide it to another route. So if you want your organs to have their fresh dose of O2, it's best to stay away from that Big Mac. Respiratory system. Your body needs oxygen like a car needs fuel to run. This is where your respiratory system comes in to ensure your body gets a breath of fresh air. Everything starts from your external organs, the nose and the mouth. Think of these two as club bouncers that guard the entrance to the respiratory system. They filter the air, ensuring unwanted guests, like air sediments, don't enter your body. Then they pass through your windpipe, which branches into smaller roads called bronchi. The lungs do their thing. As soon as the air enters the bronchi, your lungs are a pair of fluffy sponges that expand and contract with each breath you take. When you breathe in, your lungs inflate to allow oxygen from the air to pass through blood vessels. This is where oxygen waits for blood to pick it up, like a grade schooler waiting for the school bus every morning. When you breathe out, your body releases all excess gases, including carbon dioxide. This process also allows the body to get rid of waste materials. But as they say, one man's trash is another man's treasure. In this case, we are talking about plants, which use that CO2 and bring that O2 back to your respiratory system. Digestive system. The digestive system is your body's very own theme park, the Gut Express, because everything that goes through your mouth goes through the gut in a systematic way. Your mouth is where all the action starts, as it starts watering with saliva the moment you see your favorite cheeseburger. As food enters your mouth, it mixes with your spit, which starts to digest it, pretty much turning your food into a smoothie in your mouth. This breaks food down into smaller bits to prepare it for the ride down to Stomach Town. Food goes down the esophagus, the tube between your mouth and the stomach. The stomach is where the rougher part of the ride begins, because it breaks everything down using powerful acids that turn your food to look like mashed peas and carrots, called chyme. It's when the chyme gets to the intestines that the experience becomes messier. The small intestine absorbs nutrients from food while working with the pancreas, liver, and gallbladder to break the food down even further. This is how the body gets the energy it needs. Then whatever is left is taken to the large intestine, leaving behind the things the body never needed. The gut express ends with a literal flush down the toilet through its partner, the excretory system. Excretory system. It might be the shittiest job in the body, but the excretory system is just as important as ensuring your pipes at home aren't clogged. The excretory system is the body's backstage cleanup crew, dealing with the aftermath of the digestive system. It also works together with the urinary system, ensuring that everything that doesn't belong in the body gets flushed down. After your food goes through the entire process of digestion, that slice of pizza turns into feces, a smelly chunk of waste in your large intestine. The colon and the rectum work together when the body tells you that it's now time to make a run for the nearest restroom. This duo pushes the feces down your intestine and through the opening on your anus. As soon as it exits the body, the feces sinks to the bottom of the toilet, ready for some of that whirlpool action down the drain. Your skin is also part of the system because it sweats out excess salts and toxins while keeping you feeling cool. That means that the excretory system isn't just all about unloading last night's dinner, but also sweating it out. It might be true that there's nothing glamorous about this job, but it keeps your body running efficiently from behind that bathroom stall. Endocrine system. The endocrine system is basically the puppeteer that controls our movements and emotions through its invisible strings taking the form of glands and hormones. Deep inside your brain is a hormone factory that puts Santa's workshop to shame. But instead of elves, we have glands producing different hormones that do their own stuff. The pituitary gland is the multitasker that manages growth and mood swings, ordering the body to grow taller or telling it to become stressed. Then there's the thyroid gland, which works with the digestive system to find the perfect metabolic balance. And you can't forget about the adrenal glands, the break glass in case of emergency glands that pump you with adrenaline when you need to fight or flee. But glands are not the only parts of this hormone workshop. We also have the pancreas, which controls your blood sugar level, and your ovaries or testes, whichever your body has, acting as your romance department and filling you with sexual hormones for a night of romance. The endocrine system tends to work double time during puberty when your growth and sexual drive go into overdrive. So, if you're a teenager changing new clothes sizes every week, blame it on those hormones. Skeletal system. If you try constructing a building without posts, beams, and other foundational structures, it's just going to fall apart, like the big bad wolf blew 2 piggy houses. The same logic applies to the human body, which needs the skeletal system. Your skeleton is your body's framework. Every bone in the skeletal system works to ensure your body gets the physical support it needs to move and function properly. Without bones, you'd just be falling apart to the ground, like a puddle of organs and muscles that can't move. But your skeleton provides structure. Every single bone is there for a reason. But probably the 3 most important ones are the skull, ribcage, and spine. Your skull acts as the house for your fluid-filled brain, ensuring that a punch on the head won't turn your brain into mashed potatoes. Meanwhile, your ribcage is just as important because it acts as the protective fence for your heart. Then we have the spine, the literal backbone of the skeletal system. It keeps you upright and houses the spinal cord. Plus, it's super bendy, allowing you to move well no matter how many awkward TikTok dances you do. Muscular system. Your muscles aren't just for attracting those ladies with chest pumps or for lifting giant weights like John Cena does. Instead, muscles are responsible for all your moves, from lifting a spoon to attempting to outrun Usain Bolt. Your muscular system is like a construction site where tiny workers, in the form of muscle fibers, constantly lift, pull, and push. If you need to high-five someone, different muscles, like the biceps and the triceps, work flawlessly together in a tag team. And if you want to dance, your leg muscles ensure you can bust out your best moves. But your muscles aren't just about voluntary movement, because some muscles are responsible for involuntary movements as well. The most important involuntary muscles are found in the heart, ensuring that it keeps pumping blood 24/7, or lungs breathing in and out during your sleep. Immune system. Your body is like a medieval castle that needs to be protected from invaders, such as viruses, pathogens, and deadly bacteria. While the walls are there to keep the invaders at bay, they usually aren't enough. Your immune system is there as the second line of defense. As harmful invaders breach the castle walls, your white blood cells, the armored knights patrolling the castle grounds, spring into action to fight them off. When you get a fever, that's when you know that your white blood cells are working hard to protect your body. Meanwhile, your immune system also relies on the lymphatic system, acting as a secret series of tunnels for your white blood cells. This is where the white blood cells rely on vessels and nodes that transport them around the castle. The immune memory is the castle's library. Once your immune system defeats an invader, it remembers how it kicked its butt. So if the same bad guys try to sneak into the castle again, your cells can beat them quicker. We can't forget about the spleen, acting as the castle armory. It houses all the weapons your cells need to recognize and defeat unwanted visitors. So the next time you get a cut or catch a cold, imagine a huge battle inside your body. Urinary system. Everything building needs a sound plumbing system, ensuring all the nasty fluids make their way out into the sewers. Your body also has a built-in plumbing brigade in the form of your urinary system, which has one mission: to keep your internal waters flowing smoothly. They may be the most popular organs on the black market, but your kidneys are important parts of this system. When you drink water or any other liquid, there are excess minerals and substances that the body doesn't need. The kidneys separate waste and excess fluids to create urine, ensuring only the best stuff stays in circulation. Then we have ureters, the pipes that transport urine to the bladder. As soon as urine reaches the bladder, this elastic balloon-like sac holds the liquid in place, acting as a temporary storage facility until nature starts calling. When the bladder is all filled up, that's when it's time to go to the nearest toilet. It's like nature's way of saying, to pee or not to pee, that is the question. This is where the urethra comes in, acting as the large pipe that pushes all that liquid waste to a graceful exit from your body. Just like your body's urinary system keeps everything moving, our community can help you stay connected and informed. Join our Discord to flow with us and talk more about human body parts and systems. Reproductive system. The reproductive system is the part of the body that ensures that we have children and pass our genes down our bloodline. But it's also why Hollywood never runs out of sexual plot lines. Think of it as the body's own production line for making tiny humans. At the heart of this operation are the gonads, testes for guys, ovaries for gals. The testes whip up sperm, while ovaries hold on to the eggs. And let's not overlook the equipment. Guys come equipped with a friendly neighborhood penis, and girls come with vaginas. When mom and dad are in the mood, or we're too drunk, they go to bed and get down to business, and allow the sexual magic to happen. It's like the world's most awkward handshake when their tools meet. Dad has to release his sperm, which meets mom's egg in the fallopian tubes. Millions of sperm compete for the ultimate prize of being the first to fertilize that egg. Once daddy has planted the seeds of the next generation, the fertilized egg becomes an embryo that develops inside the woman's uterus. It has a 9-month lease on this temporary Airbnb crib before childbirth. Nature's eviction notice introduces Junior into the real world as a newborn infant. Integumentary system, skin. It's not all about aesthetics and 14-step skincare products for the integumentary system. Otherwise known as your skin, this system's primary objective is to act as your body's first line of defense against the elements, harmful objects, and the occasional clumsy episodes that lead to scraped knees. While it doesn't hurt to look good, the skin is there to fend off germs and UV rays. It's your body's outer filtration system because it allows nutrients, water, and other helpful stuff to get in while keeping the dirt and bacteria out. But the skin is also part of the sensory system, allowing you to feel heat, cold, and pain. It's the body's built-in review system that describes physical experiences as either good or bad. So if you touch a kettle and get your hand burned, your skin will tell your brain that this is a bad experience. More importantly, the skin is the elastic suit of armor that keeps the flesh from getting exposed and ensures your organs are never out of place. Because your skin is important, you should remember that keeping it healthy isn't just about vanity and looking like your K-pop idols, it's also about ensuring that your body's natural raincoat protects everything under it. Sensory system. Every house needs a built-in surveillance system to keep you on your toes for those unwanted invaders. The body also has a similar system called the sensory system, which includes a special team of role players with their own responsibilities. The first is vision, armed with cameras in the form of our eyes. This guy's job is to capture every detail, from watching the sunset to checking out that cute girl walking past you in the mall. But its main job isn't all about sightseeing. Instead, it keeps you guarded, especially if you spot danger from dozens of feet away. Up next is hearing, the guy responsible for eavesdropping. Through your ears, hearing allows you to pick up whispers from across the room, or loud noises from your alarm clock first thing in the morning. This part of the system ensures that you're aware of what's happening around you, even when you're not keeping an eye on everything. Smell, of course, uses your nose to sniff everything out, from freshly baked cookies to the mystery of who farted in a crowded room. It can be both a blessing and a curse, because it allows you to sense flowers or the confusing, chaotic stench of durian. Touch is the clingiest part of the group because this guy always has to make skin-to-skin contact. It's the tactile investigator that allows you to feel textures and temperatures. You can't feel a soft kitten's fur without touch. Similarly, it can also keep you jumpy, especially if hot coffee gets spilled on you. Finally, we have taste, rounding up this 5-person surveillance crew. Using your tongue, taste takes you on a wild ride of flavors that make life entertaining. From the sweet taste of chocolate to the burning sensation of peppers, taste always surprises you while giving you an idea of what not to eat on your next gourmet adventure. Together, they make up the ultimate bodyguard team that keeps your body protected and entertained 24/7.